Laurie-Ann knows her stuff, like totally transformed the way that I've been running the speaking end of my business. It's completely changed my mindset about getting gigs. Oh my goodness, things took off like crazy. You taught me how to go out and actually get the gigs and get the gigs booked. It gave me this sense of ease and competency and this satisfaction and this assurance that now I know how to make this happen. And that confidence has improved my ability to sleep through the night. Brea is so positive and so supportive. When you work with her, you feel like you've got her in your hip pocket. There's always this voice of encouragement that you can reach out for and just check, am I on the right track? And then when the results start to roll in, at least 300%. I mean, it's totally revolutionized everything. It's so much fun to get in front of a crowd of people and share who you are and share what you do. You do your thing. It's so much fun. And then afterwards, they all want to buy things from you. And then I get paid to speak quite well. And then I make my speaking fee and more selling my product.
Happy Thursday, everyone. This is Laurie-Ann, and you are listening to a special edition of Be in Demand, because this is the podcast where I help entrepreneurs just like you leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing. This is a speaker breakthrough session. Anita, thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Really lovely to speak with you.
So can you just give me a high level, an idea of what you do and who you help?
Yeah, certainly. So I am a qualified counsellor and certified coach. I work with kind of high achieving women to support them to create healthier boundaries in their life so that they can create a healthier work-life balance, have much healthier boundaries in their personal relationships, so that they feel that they are fulfilled and they're living their purpose rather than purely being the jobs that they do.
Okay. How is this niche working for you right now?
I am enjoying the work that I do with the women that I work with. And I guess one of the things I really love is helping women to realize that self-worth, getting that self-worth for themselves, having that realization that the external validation that they get from their work isn't who they are. And this has come from my own sort of personal experience of when I was doing that kind of work. Actually, fulfillment is an internal job. Happiness is an internal job. So I absolutely love, especially when these women, all of their validation comes from their employment, from their job. And, being told that they're doing a good job, but actually when they realize that they can do that for themselves, it's kind of like a light bulb goes on for them that they can have happiness and they don't need the job to make them feel happy.
True. Very true. And what sort of programs, like how do these high achieving women, how do they work with you?
So I have a few different ways. My favorite, and probably the way that is the most effective ultimately, is one-to-one work. I do work quite brief, so it's only a 6-week program, a package that I do. And that's because the women that I work with want fast results. And so we do it as a 6-week program. And obviously we kind of work with the goals in mind and work backwards from there. I do offer a couple of sort of alternative versions as well. So I do a 6-week group program, which I do probably twice a year, which can be really helpful. Again, having that sort of community, feeling that you're part of a group, having other people sharing the experience can be really beautiful. And I do a kind of hybrid, one-to-one, asynchronous type coaching, which is like a 4-week package that I do. And I love doing this because we do like a 30-minute really quick call every week, but then we do Voxer throughout the rest of the week where they can just fire stuff at me and obviously I'll reply. And that can be a really, especially if it's quite fast moving, they don't want to wait till next week to have, an hour-long coaching call. They really want to kind of do it in the moment. They're dealing with things in the moment. So I do love that.
Okay. Which one's your favorite?
It's really hard because it depends who I'm working with. And it's that part, I suppose, that I think the one-to-one is probably where my heart is, because that's where I see the biggest transformations. The women that I work with in that space, the commitment is massive. They really want to get the results from it. So yes, I suppose the sort of the 6-week one-to-one coaching packages.
Okay. What would you like to get out of this coaching call?
So for me, it's kind of beginning to be known as the boundaries coach. you know, and I know that nobody cares about boundaries in reality. Actually, nobody is interested in boundaries in the same way as nobody's interested in the diet. They want the outcome. So the women I work with don't really care about boundaries. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel freedom and, you know, fulfilled, that real sense of purpose that isn't connected to their work, purely connected to the work anyway. So I want to be the person who liberates them, I suppose, you know, and gives them that sense of feeling that they've got balance in their life. But I know for me, that comes from the boundaries. It's having really gorgeous, healthy boundaries in your life that gives you all of that, kind of underpins everything.
Yeah, I don't think we want to lead with that title. I'm the boundary coach.
No.
You're right. Like nobody wants to know, oh, that's how I'm going to feel good about myself is to have boundaries. Like they're just not going to believe you. Whereas
a lot of these women believe they have good boundaries because in the workplace, they are amazing. They go toe to toe with anybody. And it tends to be their personal life that they struggle with the boundaries.
I find that in the work that I've done throughout these years, that people are either really good in their personal life or their professional life. You said it beautifully. You know, they're great here, but they suffer at home. Okay. How much speaking are you doing?
So this is my quest for the year is to do as many. I've actually got a list of 1 to 100. And that is my goal, is to do 100 speaking gigs in the year. So I do master classes that I promote on Eventbrite. So I do them every month. And I've currently done probably 6 or 7 podcast interviews. And I'm in the process. I mean, I've really kind of gone at it. So over the next few weeks, I'll be doing a number of guest expert spots in a few groups and things like that. So not an awful lot, but I speak a lot on the masterclasses that I do. I've done quite a lot of masterclasses.
Okay, I got an idea for you. How are you leveraging either guesting on other people's podcasts or guesting in other people's communities? How are you leveraging that? Like, what's your post-speaking process?
That's probably a place that I haven't touched. I mean, obviously, I share my contact details, but I don't have anything specific to offer.
Okay.
Which, definitely leaving something there.
Okay.
But,
So it's not just about offering the audience something. I am talking about a process that you have with the person who booked you.
Okay.
And the person who had you on their podcast. So it's not too late for you to still reach out to all those places that you have spoken for.
Yeah.
And that's where I want you to start.
Okay.
I would consider this to be part of your warm market. These are people who have already seen you dazzle their audience. They've seen you in action. Okay. And so I want you to go back to them and, one, get a testimonial if you didn't get a testimonial.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And then I also want you to just engage with them. Send the email that says, you know, I loved speaking for your group, whatever it was, last year, 2 years ago. And my goal this year for 2024 is to do more speaking in similar situations. Who do you know that my story and my presentation would be perfect for?
Yeah.
This is where speaking literally can snowball because one event suddenly turns into 2 more. Those 2 turn into another 2, and so on and so on and so on.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. Fabulous.
Now that's easy to do, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay. So how many, if you could give me a number of how many podcasts have you been on?
So far, I have done about 5 now. Yes.
5. Okay. I want you to reach out to all those 5 podcast hosts.
Yeah.
Same sort of conversation. So enjoyed being on your podcast. I want to do more podcasts this year. Who do you know? Because podcast hosts know podcast hosts.
Yeah.
And they can get you on other podcasts. Another idea is also for you to use listen notes.
Okay.
And it's a great form of research. The best way also to be a referred podcast guest is also just to be a fabulous podcast guest.
Okay.
You know, one that promotes other people's podcasts, not just that one time when it goes live, but again and again, like you just have your process for, I take this podcast and every 3 months, I reshare it on social.
Yeah.
And then you just have like a nice little cycle where you just like each week there's a new podcast. Here's a podcast that I was on. Because here's the thing, the people that are in your audience that are watching you on social, they may not remember or have ever seen that particular post, even though you're thinking, I keep sharing this over and over and over again. But for some people, it's brand new.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. So how many places have you spoken for? Other people's groups?
So I think group ones, I've probably only done two or three. Yeah, I think 2 or 3, not many.
Okay, those 2 or 3 people, I want you to reach out to them.
Yeah.
And just ask them, who do you know that
Yeah.
I can be sharing this information with?
Yeah.
And I also wonder about you creating your own stage,
Okay.
which is similar to what you're doing on Eventbrite.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you host those events? Is that a private
Just on
Zoom
Zoom.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What if you started doing, well, actually, are you sharing this on LinkedIn?
No, I have done some lunch and learns on LinkedIn. Ones. What I found is they're quite dry. The version that I do on LinkedIn is quite dry because there's not an awful lot of interaction. Whereas the masterclasses I normally do, the engagement is great because the people who show up are ready to kind of engage, which I love, which obviously then gives me the energy and the vibe. Whereas on LinkedIn, it's quite
Okay. I got an
dry.
idea for you. When you have done them on LinkedIn, how long were they? These
30
lunch and
minutes.
learns?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay. Cut it down to 15
Okay.
and promote your Eventbrite program.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
like this, if you like what you learned here, you're going to love
Okay.
this other program. And if you do the Eventbrite, let's just say it's an event that's once a month,
Mhm.
then maybe at least twice a month over on LinkedIn, you're doing this little 15 minutes that you book with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that LinkedIn is making the announcement, and anybody who says that they're interested in it, LinkedIn is going to put it on their calendar and they remind people of it. And then look at this 15 minutes, like you're giving really good value. You're explaining to people, this is who I am. This is why I have the credibility to teach this, and give them like a gold nugget that they're going to walk away with. And then at the end, you are pitching your Eventbrite program. Now, your Eventbrite program, are you charging for it, or is it a free event?
No, I'll just do that as a free event.
Fantastic. Okay, so free event to a deeper dive free event. Okay,
Yeah.
and from there, are you pitching yourself?
Yes.
For your one-on-one,
Yes.
or you have 3 different programs, and it's about getting people to get on the call with you, and then you help them decide which one is best for them. But I think LinkedIn is going to be like the perfect place for you too.
Yeah. And I do quite a lot on LinkedIn already. I'm quite active in there. Yeah.
And I think from LinkedIn, well, let me ask you this question. Is speaker in your bio on LinkedIn?
No.
Why does everybody say that?
No. And it's funny. Well, I guess because I've never formally done a speaking gig. I've never kind of stood on a stage and that's what's in my head. I've never stood on a physical stage. I'm stood live in front of people. But the more I'm kind of looking into it, the more I'm well, that's exactly what my masterclass is. I'm doing a speaking event. Yeah.
You are.
No, I don't. I haven't. But yeah. I will add that.
I believe that speaking needs to be redefined. And there are so many different forms of speaking that you are not giving yourself credit for. Speaking on LinkedIn, any sort of live stream, podcasting, when you're a guest on that's a form of speaking. Being on my podcast right here, right now, this is speaking. And you hosting your own events, good for you.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. I would also be sharing that on those events on Facebook, also creating like a Facebook event and just letting people know, go here to sign up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be on Facebook.
No.
Now we're getting more eyes over on Eventbrite,
definitely.
which is really your deeper dive.
Yeah. Definitely. And that's, the masterclass that I do on Zoom. Yeah, so much more interactive. And yeah, it's where I definitely light up.
And are you recording them and sending them out to everybody?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. And put those somewhere, store them somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, they are.
Yeah, you just never know what you can do with that stuff afterwards to repurpose it. I'm the repurposing princess. You never do anything once.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that help you?
It absolutely does. There's so much there to go away with 100%. Definitely kind of, beginning to look at the speaker thing from a different perspective and just beginning to utilize what I've already done. That there's so much being left behind there. But yeah, beginning to like invite people to share my stuff so that, find other people to speak with and share, kind of what I can share, sharing my version of what I can share.
And there's one other that I want to share with you, and that is your former clients. The clients who have graduated, reconnecting with them. Maybe they need to be invited to come back to work with you.
Yeah.
Maybe the people, when you were telling me about the 3 different programs that you have, when you told me about the 6-week program and then you told me about the hybrid, I was like, wow, what a great graduation program. You finish the 6 weeks and it's like, you can go on to this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe all the people that you've already worked with, what a great way just to invite them back, let them know that I have a couple of slots that are open on my calendar and I enjoyed working with you so much. Like to invite you to come back, just or reconnect or being able to send out those emails every once in a while, just like, like you're in my circle, you're part of my family forever now.
Yeah.
Just send me an update on what's going on.
Yeah.
Because that's where you'll hear from the people who are just like, oh gosh, like I slipped into my old habits or a different situation. And also letting them know that you're available as a speaker.
Yeah.
You're dealing with high achieving women. And I just think, how many different organizations are your past clients working with and for that could actually be hiring you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we already know we're not going to call it boundaries, but I mean, what do your clients get? What's the end result that they get from working with you? How does the company benefit?
The company probably gets somebody who is more focused on what they should be doing. So instead of being the go-to for everybody to go to and who does everything as a bit of a people pleaser, she's more and it is women primarily, but she's more focused on doing her own role and kind of delegating up and down so that others kind of then take on responsibility for what they ought to be doing. Yeah.
I'd love to see you doing a lunch and learn in an organization.
Yeah.
I bet you some of your best clients could actually pave the way for you to get in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely look into that. Yeah.
And that would come from just having beautiful conversations with your past clients.
Yeah. Sounds fab. Thank you so much. That's been so helpful.
You're welcome. So what's 1 or 2 gold nuggets that you're walking away with today?
Well, definitely going back to any of the speaking events that I've been on already, going and reconnecting with them and, sort of asking for testimonials because that's really important. But also, asking, can they recommend any others? Can, so going and getting that. And like you say, kind of duplicating my range, if you like, of kind of where I can speak with people. But even that LinkedIn, that 15-minute LinkedIn, I really like the idea of that leading into a masterclass. I think that feels really good. Like I said, because the LinkedIn lunch and learns just felt really dry and there's not an awful lot of interaction. Obviously, people are in work and they're on their lunch break and they don't want to get into it too much. But as quite a high level information sharing with a nugget at the end and then coming into the more in-depth masterclass, that feels like a really good way to go with it. Yeah.
I got another idea for you. You might want to try like an early morning coffee.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe just to test it out to see if that works better. Almost like here you are, here's Anita with her coffee mug, having her or tea. Sorry, we're over here in the US, we're the coffee people.
Coffee girl.
100%. You're a coffee girl. Okay. here you are with your morning cup of coffee, having the 15-minute chat while knowing that your audience is probably getting ready for the day. They're not even in the office.
Right.
I would
Early sort of 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would try that out for a couple of months. I realize we're going into the summer months. Even if you just did it every other week, like you did a lunch and then like your second one of the month was a morning coffee, and just test that out during the summer and see if you can see any numbers of how many people were showing up for the lunch versus the coffee.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the fall, like give it a couple of months and see what happens.
Yeah. 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 I really like that. Yeah.
And the reason why I thought of that idea is I have a former client, and what she does is she does record her podcast, but she streams it on LinkedIn Sunday afternoons.
Right.
She said her people are on LinkedIn in the afternoon on Sundays. During the week, they're actually too busy.
Yeah.
So
And that might be something that I consider actually, because I know normally I do a Thursday evening. That's my normal time slot for a maths class. But a weekend doing a stream into LinkedIn might actually work really well. Yeah.
you never know. Sometimes we just have to test things out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you are on these lunch and learns or your morning coffees, start sharing with people like, this is the way that you can work with me. And I'm also a speaker that is for hire. So if you're on a committee for a conference or looking for a speaker to bring into your office, please feel free to reach out to have that conversation. I would script it out for yourself so that it just sounds oh so eloquent, because write the script and just say it over and over and over again. That way, when you're on your lives, your morning coffees, your lunch and learns, it just flows from off your tongue.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anita, will you share with everybody like where they can find you, where they can learn from you?
Absolutely. So I'm on all the socials at Anita McKenna UK. Just one word, Anita McKenna UK. So, which is so much easier than having different ones for different places. So yeah, I'm on all of the socials with that.
And obviously she's on LinkedIn, so we can go follow her there as well. Fantastic. What a great episode to listen in on with Anita, and just listening to all her different forms of speaking that she wasn't even defining as speaking. So I see this a lot. So speaking really needs to be redefined. And there are so many ways for you to get your message out there, and stages needs to be redefined as well. Are you tired of hearing crickets on social media? Wondering where to get seen by the right people? Or frustrated with the growth of your business? Then the Speaker Breakthrough Session is just for you. During this free 20-minute discovery call, I'll help you recognize where you're leaving money and opportunity on the table. You'll walk away with tips and a strategy to leverage speaking opportunities to get positioned as the expert, visible to the right people, and monetize your expertise. Book your call at speakandstandout.com/SBS for Speaker Breakthrough Session.